So the PowerBeats Pro 2 from Apple just came out, and a bunch of videos are out there of people who got early access and they're just talking about specs. This video is not that. We bought these with our own money, and we'll do like a rapid fire review as the first part of this video, and then we're just gonna answer a couple of interesting questions. So how does it fit into the rest of Apple's products? Does it work well with Android? And also, these are hook style buds, but that's nothing new. We've looked at tons of hook style buds on this channel. So what's the difference there?
Namaste with DHRME. Dudes here rocked my ears. All right,
Yep.
let's get on to the review.
Yeah,
And we're just gonna state some facts about it.
let's go.
First off, these are workout buds, right? That's how they're marketed as. And they come with an IPX4 rating, which I was actually kind of disappointed by. It's
Same here.
Workout buds, you've seen like Jabra and the likes go to IP50, whatever.
The AirPods Pro 2 have a higher IP rating.
Yeah. So the ones that are not marketed for workout do better with liquids and
Yes.
dust.
Anyway, wireless charging
Yeah.
is supported. That's good. But then on battery life, it's 8 hours with ANC on, 10 hours with ANC off.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Strong battery life numbers there.
Yeah. You get the H2 chip
Yeah.
for applesauce, stuff like Find My, which you can do when on iOS.
Yeah.
And then you get, of course, spatial audio and all those things that come with the H2 chip. And we'll talk about sound a little bit more in detail. But the case also has speakers on it.
So it can also make sound.
Yeah.
So when you charge it, or when you're pairing it, or when you use the Find My, right? So it can beep and help you find the buds.
Right. And you get them in 4 funky colors, which you don't get with the AirPods.
Yeah.
So the one we have here is a nice pebble-shaped black case and also black buds with that kind of silver or let's say white logo on the Beats. But you get them in very bright colors as
Yeah.
well.
What is it, like orange, gray, and purple? Yeah. And in terms of fit, even though they are hook style, they are in your ears. And so they come with silicone tips, and they come with 5 sizes in total,
Which is good.
which is decent, yeah.
But one thing I found a bit strange was that these tips come off very easily. Like
That was easy.
I didn't have to pull it out or anything, and I remember because I was measuring this in the measuring rig,
Yeah.
and the tip just stayed behind. So I'm kind of concerned about this, about people having tips stuck in their ears. But we used it for some time, and that it wasn't the case. So
Correct. Yeah.
yeah, but it's a bit too easy. It doesn't really lock into place or anything. So
Yeah. And the buds, they have, ANC, transparency. We tested it.
yeah,
And it's very funny how a lot of people were saying, yeah, ANC is good, it's a little bit less than the AirPods Pro 2, and, what? I was like, wait a minute, let me test this out. And we test it, as we do, and we rank all of our buds. And the AirPods Pro 2, just for your context, is tier S. It's the highest tier. It does excellent noise cancelling and transparency. So where do you think the Beats Pro 2 came in?
well, it's definitely better than the AirPods 4, right? ANC, which is like
You would think so.
without
These are
tip.
semi-in-ears.
Yeah,
These don't even have silicone tips. They don't seal your ears.
yeah.
And you would think that Beats is able to, or Apple is able to make the ANC on Beats better than that, but they did not.
Really?
Again, for your understanding, for ANC, we slotted in at tier B. These came in at tier C, the PowerBeats Pro 2.
That's crazy.
Yeah, okay.
So these guys without the ear tip do better than these guys with ear tips.
Yeah, I was very surprised. I played around with some of the ear tips, and no, that's what it is. And I've been using it out and about as well. I was like walking around the shopping center here. I was like, I can hear everything. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then I had to I'm always double checking whether ANC is on, and I'm like pressing it to put it into transparency. It's like, okay, this is transparency. But speaking of transparency, it is really good.
Yeah.
That is definitely tier S.
Always Apple.
Apple,
stuff.
yeah. But yeah,
So do you think this is a case of these are workout buds, so we don't want to cancel out the world, so that's why let's keep transparency.
possible. Or you need a reason to buy the AirPods Pro 2.
We'll come to that.
We'll come to that.
Absolutely. Hey,
Yeah.
but other than that, you talked about the tips, but what I really like about the hardware is they are physical buttons,
Oh, yeah.
right? So not only do you get this volume rocker here, which you can press, to increase the volume, but this whole B logo, or it looks like a 6 right now, but whatever, this can be pressed down as well, and that's also a physical button.
Yeah.
And that's really nice. Although I don't like one thing about it.
Okay.
Because the physical button rests on your ear and you push it in, it pushes it.
Agreed.
It needs a little bit of force.
Agreed.
Like we had the Jabra buds, which needed no force, so then that was a nice place. But
Yeah.
this needs a bit more force, so you end up pushing it in.
Another thing about pushing it in is when you're putting these buds around your ears and you're putting it, then you automatically, you want to push here and you push the button. So while you're putting these earbuds on, you're playing audio, you're pausing, all of that nonsense.
Yes.
So I didn't like that.
No. Okay. So yeah, that's not a great place for a button.
And the final, let's say, flagship feature on these PowerBeats Pro 2 is that there's a HR sensor, so heart rate sensor built into the bud. Sounds cool. Probably a lot of people have not heard about it, but it's nothing new. No. It's been here for several years. Bose had some, Sennheiser had some as well with them. Soundcore with the Liberty 4 had them as well. Check out this video by the run testers we came across. They did a pretty good job, and they basically said the heart rate sensor is not as reliable. Right? It gives you a nice idea, just a quick idea, but it's not like the Apple Watch. It's not like a Polar H10 chest strap, all of that.
And the giveaway for that is that even Apple suggests like, if you're using an Apple Watch and this, the Apple Watch is what
is the default. Yeah, there are people who will say, the watch will be moving on your wrist or you're using it in different ways, and so it may not be as accurate. Whereas earbuds in your ear stay in your place and they don't actually move. But still, in terms of accuracy, it's not the case. So maybe for certain workouts, it does work.
So before we talk about the phone calls, it's interesting, let's talk about the sound as well. Because people be claiming that these are bassy, right? Like they be claiming that these are the bassiest things ever. Of course, they're workout buds and all that. And they are right. I mean, these are bassy, but they're not bassier than the AirPods Pro for me. So it's like, even if, we measured these, so just if you don't trust my ears, you can trust the measurements. They are definitely V-shaped, but the bass is not as high as I would expect for workout buds as well. So it's an interesting choice from Apple. But that also makes it that music sounds a bit more balanced and stuff like that. But one thing they have nailed is the sound on ANC on versus ANC off. Very similar. So like there was no EQ shift, which you hear in many other buds. So good job for Apple on that. But I didn't particularly love the sound of these. They don't have any high-res codecs, so you can only get up to AC. And so it kind of sounded very harsh. I don't know if shouty is the right word in the mid-range. But I would listen to music on these, but I think AirPods Pro 2 are definitely way better sounding. Sound much more polished and put together. But I think when you're running around or doing a heavy workout, maybe you're not so discerning. So that's fine. Yeah.
So interesting, right? So they've really marketed the ANC, or people at least are reiterating the fact that the ANC is so good and that they're very bassy and all of that. But in our testing, we're not really seeing that. So good to check more reviews. Yes. General life lesson. And then call quality, good stuff here, guys.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Very impressive. Why don't you listen to it for yourself first?
And this is a mic test in outdoor noisy conditions with cars in the background for the AirPods Pro Gen 2. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. And now softly, pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, this is a microphone test in noisy conditions with cars in the background for the PowerBeats Pro 2. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Now softly, pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2. All right, this is a mic test in windy conditions for the AirPods Pro Gen 2. Here we go. You can see the wind speed on this meter. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. It's a windy mic test for the PowerBeats Pro 2. Here we go. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3.
So both noisy, both windy, great job. The wind speed was below 3 meters per second, so it wasn't very windy in this test, but it handled it well because that wasn't the only time that I've used it in the wind. I was cycling about the next day as well, and I was having a whole conversation the entire way with someone who usually is not okay with wind being piped into the buds, but this time it was. So only positive things about the microphone quality in my experience. So
fantastic. We also tested it with Android, like with a noisy environment around us, and it did pretty good. So
listen to that.
So this is a mic test on the PowerBeats Pro 2 with background noise speakers playing in front of me. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Calls in Android, check.
Yeah, actually, surprisingly did a better job at canceling out some of the environment on Android compared to iPhone.
Yeah.
A bit weird. Yeah.
But anyway, they do fine.
Yeah, okay.
All right, now we're going to power through the rest of this.
Yes.
We said we do a short review. We don't know how to do short videos, so sorry about that. But how are these different to open ear hook style buds? Because the reason we're saying that is both of these, the idea is stability with the ear hook, and then you want to work out in them
Yep.
so they don't fall off. So for example, this is the Bear Dynamic, Vario 200. This is a nothing. Oh my goodness, we have too many buds here, man. Nothing here. This is the Earfun Open Jump that we reviewed recently.
Yeah.
The difference between these and this one, of course, is while they all hook around your ear, this one also goes into your ear.
Yeah.
So while this has good transparency, these do too because they're fully transparent.
Yeah.
They're not covering your ear at all.
TRS.
TRS, let's say. So yeah, that's what I see. But what do you see in this?
Yeah, and the fact that because these are open ears and they're not blocking your ears or sealing your ears, there's no ANC to talk about here.
Correct.
So if you need a bit of ANC, again, like we said, Beats didn't do an amazing job at it, but it does lower it a bit, right? It's okay, it's like entry level. And so if you need that little bit of noise cancelling, you get that, yeah? Then there's the other part, which is the controls. So there's one that we brought with us today here from One Audio that does have button controls, but it's definitely not common in this space. Mostly it is touch. Few of them have squeeze controls like the Nothing Ear Open does.
Yeah.
That is something that's not common. The other thing that's not common is wireless charging.
Yes.
So the Open Jump here has wireless charging and obviously the PowerBeats. But in open ears, you don't see it very often.
Right.
So that's a few differences, guys, over there that you can expect.
And I would say also having a seal definitely gives you way better sound. Even though open ears have come a long way in the recent past with new kind of drivers, etc. Do not expect them to sound as good as even the Beats because in-ear is in-ear.
Correct.
Much more consistent sound.
Yeah, and yeah, it is a bulky case, the PowerBeats Pro. It's not small by any means.
Yeah.
And you really notice that when you put it into kind of a jeans pocket. Now, is that an excuse? I think not, because if you look over here, this is from Soundcore. It looks the same size. It looks big, both of them next to each other. But the difference, the logo.
The logo.
Yeah. I didn't notice it at the same time. Yeah. But the difference here is really the thickness. And that's what your pocket is going to notice, right? Not necessarily the size, but the thickness. And I think there are plenty here. This one, the Earfun, all of them are flatter than Nothing. All of these are flatter actually compared to that, except for the One Audio.
Nice.
Okay, and obviously you don't get some of the funky features like heart rate sensors and all of that, but okay.
Yeah.
That's a little bit what the state of hook ear style buds looks like if you compare it with the PowerBeats Pro.
All right. Next section. So the bit of a thought here you had was why do these make sense for Apple?
Yeah.
Starts with this guy.
Yeah.
And why it makes sense because with this guy you have a lot of integration and stuff like that.
Correct, yeah.
So they have the same H2 chip, which the AirPods Pro 2 has,
Yeah.
and I think this one as well, so AirPods 4 ANC. Yeah, so there is the deep integration at hardware level where they kind of talk to each other.
Yeah.
They can pair easily, they can do Find My Buds, etc.
Yeah, and then you've got a couple of, who's it for? So you have some people who like these silicone ear tips that the AirPods Pro 2 have, right?
Yeah.
Go into your ear, really give that top seal for noise cancelling and all of that. Some people don't. They prefer the AirPods 4 ANC kind of, the semi-in-ear style without the silicone tips that just kind of sit at the entrance of your ear. So there's something for them as well. And now, because this is really geared towards athletes and for workouts, they've added that hook, but then still kept that, silicone tip to give you the best of that world. So they're really trying to appeal to all these sorts of people that are looking for wireless earbuds. And again, if you don't need all of that integration, there are plenty of other workout buds out there. You really don't need this. And we were talking about that earlier today too. Workout buds make sense just because of the fit. If they don't stay in your ear and they're constantly falling out, no one's using them. And hook style is one way to do it. You've got also wingtips that kind of hook into the concha of your ear. And you've got also cuff style or clip style buds that hook onto the side of your ear as well. So there's plenty of options for workouts here. So yeah, that's kind of the space that they're playing in.
Yeah, but why do they make sense for Apple? Because these also work with Android, right?
Yes. So obviously AirPods will never be marketed towards Android. This one is, and it makes sense because Beats actually has an app for Android.
Yeah.
AirPods, you do not. And all the features work. So you can use the heart rate sensor. You can connect it with gym equipment. That's one thing we didn't talk about.
Yeah.
It's not only for apps, but you can actually connect it to gym equipment. In the app, you can see microphone settings. You can do an ear tip fit test. Controls customization, you can do that as well. The wear sensor, so taking it out will pause the audio, putting it back in. All of that works. One thing though, the heart rate sensor on iPhone, in combination with iPhone, will only work in certain apps. So Nike Run Club, these kinds of apps it'll work with, but not the others. Surprisingly on Android, it will work with any app
Oh.
that needs a Bluetooth heart rate sensor.
Yeah.
whether that's a chest strap or whatever, because the way you do it is you go into the Android app, you click the heart rate sensor, and then it mimics a Bluetooth heart rate sensor. So you just go into Strava, for example, like I did,
nice.
and I can just find it.
Okay.
So it actually makes more sense on Android, in my opinion,
nice.
than on iPhone.
Yeah. And there is no multi-point.
No.
So you can't connect to
Apple
two phones at
devices.
the same time.
No.
And there is something you can do. You can pull connection.
Yeah.
If you've already paired it to your Android phone and now you're connected to your iPhone, you can go to Bluetooth and say connect.
Correct.
And it'll just pull the connection.
Yeah, and that's also typical Apple. I'm glad they kept it in there for this one. Yeah. So that's how it kind of worked on Android for us quite well.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. But for me, I thought, okay, if people don't like the fit and they want something that fits well and they're more workout geared, and they're like, well, $250, that's all I got to spend. Why not just buy the PowerBeats Pro 2 and you're set? You get all of the Apple sauce and you're good to go. Well, it's not that easy because Apple still wants to sell as much of their other products.
This is their premium product, right? Let's move out the ANC for now.
Yeah.
And this is the Beats. And I think they have clearly made certain compromises. I think it's quite obvious what they're doing here. So the ANC is obviously worse. So they don't want you to take this on a flight. They want you to take this guy on a flight.
Yep.
The case is obviously bulkier. So they don't want you to carry this in your pocket. They want you to carry this in your pocket. The sound quality is obviously worse. So you want the best premium sound. You want the AirPods. You don't want the PowerBeats.
Yep.
And so on and so on and so on.
And you lose out on a bunch of, fancy features that you get in the Pro, like adaptive ANC, personalized volume, head gestures. But there is other things like voice isolation and hearing aid that you don't get. Those are some of the call hearing features or whatever. And a worse IP rating, surprisingly. Coming back to
that was weird. I would expect they'll go all in on IP rating, but no. I think the case is also IP rated on the AirPods.
Yes, the newer one is.
And this one isn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, fun. So all of this is by design. It's quite obvious.
Yeah.
Apple wants to sell you both, and they'll also look so different.
Yeah.
Like there's somebody who likes what this looks like and probably gonna like what this looks like, and vice versa.
Yeah. And I think they're making a big hurdle, like you said, with the case size. It's a very big case, and people are like, yeah, but it's a big case because it has 40 plus 48 hours or whatever.
Nonsense.
Nah, I don't buy it. But yeah, it's just a hurdle. So this is perfect for throwing into a gym bag or in a gym locker or whatever. But you'll never put it in your pocket. And so the AirPods Pro 2 come in clutch there. Okay.
All right. Should you buy the PowerBeats Pro 2? I was just gonna say I don't like it, and you said oh no, I like stuff about it. So we kind of discovered that as we were shooting this video. But
so I'm gonna say yes, I do like it. And the reason is simple. I like how comfortable and how securely they fit in place. And I can use this anywhere because of the transparency mode, so I can still leave them in my ears and I don't have to take them out. Calls are good. Battery life is insane. If I ever move to Android as my primary device, which currently is not, but that might change, I'm still good. So I don't feel as hooked to the ecosystem with this product.
So it's actually a step out of the ecosystem.
It is.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Apple wasn't thinking about that, were they? For me, you're paying at least $75 premium because $250.
Yeah.
At least $75 premium for the Beats brand name.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing you cannot get.
Dr. Dre ain't taking it lying down.
No.
Gonna make some money on this.
So there's nothing you can't get that's in there. Okay, except for the Apple integration, let's say.
Yeah.
That's on other buds. And we just showed you a bunch of hook style, but there's so many in-ears out there. There's so many.
And in our last video of Hook Style, the ear fun, we actually said $150 is a lot for Hook Style open earbuds. And so it's $100 more.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
So I think I would never buy this. It's like too much of a premium.
Yeah.
And I would probably look at a Soundcore or something with the hook style in ear, which
Yeah.
you also get the X20 or something like that.
Yeah. And with the extra money, you can get ANC buds. So
Really?
which they want you to get anyway here, but then you're down $500 just buying both of these.
Yeah, so don't buy Apple stuff is what my...
Buy Beat stuff. A big thanks, guys, to all of our subscribers, patrons, and YouTube members. Everyone from the Popsicle tier, Icicle tier, and the Tested tier here on screen. In the shot, okay.
Yeah, and a big shout out to our Fuckman tier members and supporters, Rachel, Gamma Panda, and Paula. You guys are extra special, and
Now you can say it.
you've been beating the Apple.
And we've been DHRME.
Do we?
Do we?